Hey, it's your boy Conserviz 34. You know, it's a Saturday night. It's a spectacular Saturday night. So we're gonna get into some topics today. And a lot been going on in the DMB world here. So we'll get on that. But first, before we get to the DMB stuff, in honor of Chris Sale blowing it yet again, the homie about to be 3-9. We gotta play a song for Christopher Sale. I'm a Yankee fan, by the way. Got the Yankees blanket right here. You can't see the Yankee Stadium blanket behind me. You just can't see it. But in honor of Chris Sale blowing another game, we're gonna play a little tribute to him. Sail away with me, honey. Put my heart in your hands. Sail away with me, honey. Now. Sail away with me. What will be, will be. I wanna hold you now. Crazy skies are wild above me now. Winter howling in my face. Chris L's about to be 3-9 by the end of the night. He is such a disgrace. All right, that's it. All right. Sorry, I had to put you guys through that, but a little shot at the Red Sox. You know, I'm a Yankees fan. We love the rivalry up here in New England, and I will be down there in 2 weeks. Yankees Red Sox in Fenway Park with my Yankees gear on, which is a good segue into SPAC because thank you. Yeah, it's been a while since I played that song, but what's funny about Saratoga Springs is you get a cross culture of Yankees from all walks of life. You know, people consider Yankees anything up north, but it's funny because you get Western Massachusetts. For those of you who don't live in the Northeast, Western Mass is closer to Saratoga Springs. Some of the towns in Western Mass are closer or equal distance to Saratoga Springs in upstate New York as they are to Boston. Because you take the Mass Pike Interstate 90, some of these towns west of Westfield, they are closer to Saratoga Springs in upstate New York than they are to Boston, or it's equally as far. So what's interesting about SPAC is you do get some people. I saw some Red Sox hats when I went last year and in the year before that for Dave and Tim. It's funny seeing that. And I'm a kid who grew up, I'm in the middle of two cultures, Boston and New York. I'm in central Connecticut. So when the Yankees and Red Sox in 2004, when they were fighting in that series where my Yankees lost, half of my school was Yankees fans, half of them were Red Sox fans. But it's cool to see because you get the best of the Boston and New York in upstate New York for that show because the Boston fans say, hey, well, Mansfield was cool, but I want to go to SPAC. And then the upstate New York fans like, hey, this is our hometown venue. We're used to just these great shows here. I want to go to SPAC too. Yeah, 115 minutes from Lenox, right? And Lenox out there where Tanglewood is. Ryan, are you the one going to Earth, Wind, and Fire in Tanglewood? I think you said you were. Someone did. Someone said they were going there. But one thing about SPAC, if you're not from the area, is you get a mix of Boston and New York. You'll see Mass plates, but you'll see mostly New York plates because you get people even from as far as Syracuse and Buffalo, and you didn't get people who just fly in for the destination. But we're going to definitely talk about SPAC today. We're going to talk about the first show. We're going to talk about tonight. And I'm just going to break down why people get so disappointed, even with a show last night that was really great for any average show, but people were upset that, hey, I went to SPAC. Why didn't we get more? So you are going, Ryan, to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah. Hey, man, them boys can play. So you'll have a great time out there. But, yeah, so Saratoga Springs is SPAC weekend. And Talking Tunes is in here. And then we have DMB Setlist and Sandra Jones. Good to see everyone in here. And Sandra, you're just calling me Granny on Twitter, right? I believe that's your Twitter handle there. But before we get started, if you haven't, and Patrick is in. So one thing I wanted to talk about, it's not going good so far, but I wanted to really make it so that DMB fans can really show their power, show their support for great causes. I donated $10 to Farm Aid today. Look, I ain't balling out. I ain't making it rain left and right. I have a good safety net. I manage my money well. You got to in Connecticut with all these taxes we get. They're having tolls. We have taxes that are high because we don't have tolls. Now they're trying to add tolls. But anyway, Farm Aid it changed my life. It changed my life last year. It was a show that I always wanted to go to, but then I left the show saying, "Hey, these issues are real." But yeah, shout out to family farmers. And I went by. I missed the farmers market today. I went to go visit my parents over on the other side of the Connecticut River, and I was jogging by one of the farmers markets that I first went to as a kid. My mom always was about that growing up. At her job, we got this balling cheese bread. Like it was just, and it was like ciabatta, like the little box square bread. I think it's chobani bread or whatever, ciabatta bread. It was the best bread I've ever had in my life for that type of bread. And unfortunately, now that person left Connecticut or left New England. They were in Mass because my mom works in Mass, and they left by choice. They retired down south. But that bread from that farm and the people who made that bread, you can't even compare. You can't even compare it to anything else. I'm looking at the set list right now. And hopefully, DMB set list, you get one close there in Ohio, or even just a closer drive, even if it's in like Indiana, and you drive a couple hours, because it is a great event. But the most important thing is people are talking about tickets and all this stuff. Most important thing is the farmers right now are struggling. Okay, you have different tariffs that just ended, but here's the thing: these farmers, they don't have teachers have unions, right? So when there's a teacher strike, and I have my heart goes out to teachers too. A lot of my friends are teachers. Teachers have unions that negotiate. Farmers have different measures in place, but the farms are out on their own. These smaller farms, they don't have when when they when these tariffs go into play, when you have hurricanes that are coming through Louisiana, and you're going to get water that's going to come up through to Arkansas, and Arkansas was already flooded about a month and a half ago. I work in insurance, and this dude's car was underwater for like 3/4, or not, like above to the door handles. These farmers are struggling across the Midwest, across the South, and you've had hurricanes, the weather events, the droughts, the rains, and then the tariffs and the other stuff going on, and the prices, like for the price of milk is set nationally. Here in Connecticut, it's expensive it's more expensive to have a farm in Connecticut than it is to have a farm in Texas. So when you have to charge the same price as someone in Texas, because that's the minimum, the minimum price you can charge for milk, or minimum, these farmers are struggling here in Connecticut. Dairy farmers are just going extinct. So we need to support these causes. So my idea was this. 45 minutes later, I'll explain what I'm going to do. So it's on Twitter. If you want to do it on Instagram, you can do it as well. I know Patrick on Instagram. Alan, aka Talking Tunes, hooked me up with a Rhino's Choice download. He has the vinyl that he had made a purchase, and he has an extra download code. You can redeem it digitally. We'll show you how to do it if you win. But there's 3 steps to this. First step, you need to donate to Farm Aid. It could be $1, it could be $100, it could be $1,000. The point is, give something. I can give $10 right now. So I gave $10 this morning. So that's the first part. www.farmaid.org. Scroll to the middle of the page. You can donate. Step 2 is using the hashtag DM. Let me get. Oh, I forgot the hashtag already. This is bad. So I'm gonna put and I'll put it in the chat, and I'll put it at the end of this video as well. So DMB fans for farmers, right? That's what it is. But as much as I laugh, it's a serious thing. So I'm gonna put it in the chat, DMB, just so you guys can see it. I put famers, right? Oh man. Twitter, that's the only thing about Twitter is when you mess up, you mess up. And I'm all about, I used to write newspapers. I'm all about third and fourth copies of a newspaper. Um, but it's going to be DMB fans for farmers. RMERS. This is the hashtag. So you tag me on Instagram or Twitter at Conservative34 and use the hashtag DMB fans farmers. Say whatever you want to say. The point of this and my goal with this was to just show the power of Dave Matthews Band fans. I know it's cheesy, a hashtag or whatever, but this is a way to. My hopes was to make it so that we can show Farm Aid, we can show the world how much we care about causes in this DMB community. You know, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of badness to me, but the good to me outweighs the bad just because of how great people are. So that's if you can do that, social media, Twitter or Instagram, use the hashtag, tag me, and just to make a donation. And then we're gonna pick a winner, but I'm gonna check to see. I'm gonna direct message you or find a way to talk to you privately, and I want to see just some sort of box where at the end it will say thank you for your donation before we give you the code. If you don't have that, then we're gonna go to the next person because I want to see you donate, even if it's $1. So that's the goal. Is again hashtag DMB fans for farmers. Thank you, Talking Tunes, for helping me out and put it in as well. DMB fans for farmers. Put any message you want. Say I donated to Farm Aid or I want them to see a difference. Because we talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They don't care about us, and everyone goes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and votes for DMB. Or the Grammys don't care about it. Who cares about all that stuff? That's not going to make any impact. Oh, we're in the Hall of Fame now. DMB's music isn't going to sound better because they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Their impact isn't going to change because they're in the Hall of Fame. Their impact is their impact. But one of the things that trickles down from them is what we do and what we show the world, how we help others. So it's not about saying I spent $3,000 or $3. Hey, I care, and we want to show the world what we do. And if you want to keep it private, keep it private. Because I know some people just want to give private donations. There's stuff I do that I do keep private because I don't feel like I need to tell people everything of activism I do. But for this, we just want to show the power of this community. So hashtag DMB fans for farmers. And 41 was just played the 41st show at SPAC. So it looks like DMB set list and Patrick has some family out in Ohio. There's interested. And then Talking Tunes is in Ohio. So, oh no, Talking Tunes is talking to DMB Sellers. I'm trying to multitask here. Yeah, because he's in Ohio. Oh, all three of y'all. All three of y'all have connections to Ohio, but that's cool. So yeah, that's just my little blurb out the way. So I will have any live updates from John Dix. He's at SPAC Night 2. He's not in the pit for today. He is actually in the balcony, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff for him that how he's feeling at the show. But we have last night. So last night we have a SPAC Night 1 that is interesting because we have some rare stuff, but we also have some of the same. And the thing that we have, and Talking Tunes pointed this out to me, and I kind of had, I've been looking at the sets, and obviously like Alpine Night 1 or Deer Creek Night 1, people were saying were better than Night 2. That was a clear cut thing. But what Talking Tunes told me is like, hey, there's more rare stuff being played on the Friday night shows and the Saturday night shows. And I looked at the stats, and I'm like, he's right. And you know what it is? It's one song or two songs that are super rare. So I went back to the game tape, and then I was looking at the tour, and I made a video last night on my Twitter just pointing out when we go to the game tape, we look at Camden Night 1, right? Camden Night 1, we get a Pig tour debut. So that was like the first one. And then we had recently 2 or 4. You have Fish Tender, but that's like stuff that's been played. But you have a Pig tour debut on the Friday, not the Saturday show. And then we go to Deer Creek, which is the next big 2 night stand. And then boom, we have If I Had It All, Liberation, and then Write a Song is a tour debut, but really it hasn't been played that much. I mean, it was played in Inglewood, Colorado last year, but before that, it wasn't played for a minute. So you have boom, another night one where you have 2 different songs that were very, very special. And then I scroll down to uh, after Deer Creek, we had Alpine Weekend, which was last weekend. And yet again, this trend shows, again, shout out to Talking Tunes, right place, wrong time, as we know, never played by the band, uh, to my knowledge, before, just from members of the band were part of an all-star group, like Carter Beauford, and I think Tim Reynolds was part of it too. They had played that back in 93, 11293. So a super rare song on a night one in the Alpine. So you get some very, and then You Never Know was also played night one of Alpine, which was played 3 times this tour, but still, You Never Know opening a show. And then The Maker is played. Now it's 2 of 2, but again, a song that was only played in Philly, yeah, Seville All Stars in 93. And going back to that lineup, we'll take a look at that lineup here. So the Charlottesville All-Stars formed in 1974, broke up in 1981, to the reunion in 2007. And, they have Carter Beauford, Tim Reynolds, Boyd Tinsley, Chris Wright, Darnell Rose, Doug Wanamaker, Houston Ross, Johnny Gilmore, Christian Ashbury, Mike Dunham, and Leroy Moore, are all kind of featured in this little thing that they had going on at the time. And John Durst actually came on for that song. He wasn't on the first song, but came on for that. And John's played with the band there, a Seville legend as well. And a heck of a show, a performance. But again, night one. Now we go to Saratoga Springs, aka SPAC night one, and here we go again. We have a Joyride Liberation, which is a huge moment, because before that, the show was pretty standard. Squirm, you get a Squirm opener, but it's 3 of 3, but still nothing like like it's not a dive in from Whiskey. Squirm has been played in years past. Um, yeah, and Patrick's right. Charlotte Seville back then. I mean, I can't even imagine the stuff that was the cheap prices, all those musicians. And I would have never known. My dad's from Portsmouth, but I mean, you have your New York cities, you have even other cities down south, like Memphis and even Nashville back then. But for Charlottesville, that's a small town. That's not a music town of like, oh, we got to go to Charlottesville for our tour. It's out there at the cusp of Appalachia, as I call it, and it just so much talent out of there, but no one would expect a Dave Matthews Band to come out of Charlottesville, and be as big as it is. Maybe a regional act, maybe have some college runs and that's it. But I mean, the musicians they had were incredible. And you see why Dave was able to perform such a top-notch band. I mean, Stefan was chilling in school still, and then Roy and Carter. And despite Boyd being off tempo, I mean, Boyd still had energy and was able to play with the band like the Dave Matthews Band in a way that many fiddles may have not fit that band. So definitely agree with that, Patrick. In SPAC Night 1, we have a Joyride. And before I get to the little mashup, there were a couple of things I noticed about Seville Night 1. You Might Die Trying was really, really dope. I loved the ending of that at the show. And then the other thing is Satellite. Satellite to me was, I feel like Tim was less annoying on it, even though he is kind of annoying every time. Um, But for SPAC Night 1, he like I wish Buddy was not on the organ and he was on the keys. Like I've said, Live Tracks 31 to me is the best satellite I've ever heard. And I wish he was on keys because the song doesn't need organ. It needs a nice, gentle touch. And needs to be nice and fluffy and fly through the air. And but the band has its own ideas of what its sound should be, and that's what they've made as a decision. But I mean, Satellite to me could have been better if it was more of a piano bass and the piano's turned up. You know, you have a piano turned up, still playing gently, but have it be higher in the mix. That's just my opinion of that. You know, Crush was pretty cool too. And you have a water into wine. But here we go with the Jimmy thing. And the Jimmy thing, I listened to it after running 7 miles today, just exhausted in the heat. And yeah, Minarets. He had the Carter rap on Minarets. I was listening to that this morning. Um, I like the older versions of Minarets better. They played Pig today. Yeah, talking to they played Pig today. And now John seems like he's not complaining anymore from the show, which I don't blame him. I mean, this dude, and we'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about the risk reward of flying out and spending a lot of money at SPAC for a reason. But you got a Jimmy thing, and then they go into Back in Black, Staying Alive, and Talking Tunes. Talking Tunes, I mentioned Humphreys McGee, and they do this a lot. They do mashups. They made an album called Zonky, where they mashed up different songs. Really cool to see them mix up Back in Black and Staying Alive, and just a really surprising moment in the show too. And that's the type of moment you go to SPAC for. You go for these, and then after they finish that, they go right into Fly Like an Eagle, which sounds great in my opinion. Some people are already sick of it, but I just like the vibes of it. I really like the vibes of it. And but after that, you have Shaking Like a Monkey. And every day, the crowd is into every day. I'm not into every day as much as everyone else, but even the show I was at, the video that Talking Tunes took, and even listening last night, I mean, people is in it, and I think when you're there, it's a better moment. But to me, I like number 30. Number 36 has more of the smoke. Number 36 has you don't want to mess with number 36. It'll smack you up, give you that that little cross punch, that left hook. You know what I'm saying? Like boom. So, but every day is a great moment in venue than anything. And a solid ants. Now, the one thing, a lot of scalpers last night. How cheap, Ryan, were they going inside? Because I know night one is like that. Night one of SPAC, people put these prices high, but the demand isn't like night two. And people can't get off from work or take that drive. If they're driving 2 or 3 hours, they just do it they wait till night two. But what were the prices going for? And also be careful. I mean, SPAC, you got to be careful with SPAC because there are phony tickets out there. And what was I going to say about Everyday? One thing about Everyday I forgot to say is I would love for Tim to actually be on his wah pedal. Tim could replicate. Tim could definitely 200 second row of balcony for 2. That's nothing for SPAC. That is nothing. 200 for the second row. I mean, it's 115 plus fees for the regular stuff. For the second row of the balcony, that's awesome. I don't care if you're in the corner, like that's 200 for 2, man. Whew, that's a good deal. But I'd be very wary of the tickets. I don't like parking lot. Oh, can't stop. I don't like parking lot scalping, especially at a big venue like SPAC. I'd rather have tickets from a reputable source or have some type of protection from a cash and trade. StubHub, because at least I know if I get burned, if it don't work, they're gonna give me um they're gonna give me the house. And DMB says if you think that the sound on the lawn sucks at Riverbend, go to SPAC. Not only does the sound suck, the lawn itself is horrible. Um compared to being in SPAC where it's some of the best sounds in the world when you're in the actual seat. But it's so loud, and depending on where you are, it's horrible there. But Tim, I would love for Tim to do the wah, and also on two step, just using my guitar. Um, One of the things, and I may not be able to hear it through my laptop thing, even in two step, because Dave's doing the like if Tim is on acoustic or electric, like doing those little plucks with his hand or with the pick. Like I would love for Tim to do that on two step because you can do a lot of what Boyd does on an acoustic guitar. And even what I used to do, I used to play Big Eye Fist. I can't remember. Let's see if I can find it. I used to play with my friend doing the. And that's what my friend would play. And I go. So I used to play that part just on acoustic. Dun, 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 dun. And I used to mess around. Same key. I think it's the same key as two step. Yep. Oh no, it's a key. It's a step up. I think. But like that's what I would love to hear because even on electric, even if it's on electric, if he makes a clean channel on electric and because you don't need and then when you get into his solo, he can switch over to electric, he can play his electric and then jam out, get a more distorted channel. I would love to see that on I would love to see that on some of the songs and even every day do the wah. Do the wah. Yeah, he could definitely do some boy plug, and I'm trying to scramble up forgetting these songs. But that type of stuff, that little when he does that with Dave and Tim is awesome. And then some of that stuff is hard. What he does on acoustic guitar is more impressive than electric because electric, the strings are different, but what he's doing on acoustic to make it sound good when you don't have the skill set, you get exposed on acoustic guitar. Electric guitar, everything typically comes through good because you have distortion, you have a channel that's more pushing you through. When you make a mistake on an acoustic string, you can hear it. When you don't really have those parts down, you can hear it, and then the strings have more resistance, and the frets aren't as easy to move through as an electric. But I would love for him to just go. And even go back down to the bass as Dave is playing that part. So like I would love for that to happen more. But I have a Fender. This is a Fender. It's like an acoustic electric. It's got the little Fishman thing built in on it, which is dope. I did not go into Guitar Center expecting to buy a Fender, but I was impressed by this guitar. Um, yeah, even say goodbye. You don't need electric guitar. He could do some stuff on that. Like I would love for him to see that, but it's not part of their DNA. Like that's the thing is the band is set on some of their ways. They're changing some stuff. They are changing stuff. I have a black I have a black Telecaster. a black, but a Taylor, nice, and a honey. But you have a Honeybird's Telly. And even with Tim, speaking of Tellys and Fenders, the Super, which I mentioned on the other stream, that Super that he has doesn't cut through. Telecasters and Strats are great for certain types of bands, but for DMB where it's more acoustically based, and I love Tim on the Telecaster, don't get me wrong, but the Super or Super, however you pronounce it, that thing does not cut through as much, and it's more of a fuller sound, just like the Gibsons that Warren Haynes does. He's been playing a Super, a Supper, and I don't know the model, but that's what he's been playing. It's like a teal guitar. And I mean, the thing sounds great. I heard it in Hartford and Mansfield. And I mean, it's more of a Gibson sound where it's a fuller sound. It's not just a lot of high end and it doesn't stick out as much. It's more smoother. And it's great for Crush. It's just like Warren, because the thing is, I would take Warren Haynes any day over Tim Reynolds. Not that Tim Reynolds doesn't add stuff that Warren can't. But what it more is about is Warren Haynes' tone is better built for this band. It doesn't encroach on the acoustic vibe of it. When you listen to him play at the Wetlands Preserve, when he's playing with the band back in the early 90s, he doesn't cut through. Blue Water, you still hear Dave, and he does, and Warren goes in on that. But and I would love at the Gorge for them to play Blue Water. Oh, look, just turn off like the horns, go home. Yep, say goodbye. You're right, Ryan. I see it pop up on notification. I would love for like Rashawn just to go to the dressing room and Tim just play. Tim go in the dressing room too, and Buddy play synth strings, and they do a full Blue Water with the jam, and then you have Buddy doing the synth violin, so you get a little bit of what Boyd was doing on that, and just Dave and Warren, and behind me I got the Allman Brothers band poster. Man, saw him and Derek's Trucks, like him and Derek Trucks in the Allman Brothers band, just two great guitarists that know how to complement each other. They never get in the way of other players they play with. If they're supposed to be the lead, they're the lead, but they know how to stay back. They know how to be in the middle where they're supposed to be not too loud, not too soft. Like I would love that. That's just me. That's my wishful thinking. But anyway, the other thing about last night was the cover. Now the covers of the Black and Black Staying Alive and the Fly Like an Eagle. I know people don't like it. I think Talking Tunes put the thumb down. Yeah, ego thumb down. They should do Nelly's Drop Down and Get Your Eagle On, girl. Interpolation. No, we're not gonna do that. Would not be. I don't think the band could pull that off. But the covers. This has been a debate. You had some tweets about some of the covers, and on DMB Live. Let me go to that tweet because it was getting pretty feisty last night on the social media, and we'll talk a little more about Bond too, because he had said some stuff with DMB. You think Ego is generic classic rock song? They don't do right. It's not their best, but I do agree with it. So DMBnews.net on Twitter at DMBnewsnet. Just to recap some songs, hashtag DMB played to like Staying Alive, Back in Black, Fly Like an Eagle, Stairway to Heaven. And someone posted, I'd much rather see, Andy Williams says, I'd much rather see Dreaming Tree, Say Goodbye, Spoon, Drive and Drive Out, Pay for What You Get, Pig Raven. Songs by the Dave Matthews Band. Bunch of people liked it, 8 comments. And I said, I was just joking, but I was like, I think if someone tells Dave that Neil Young wrote Shotgun and Bob Dylan wrote Dodo, we could definitely get those songs back. Not a fan of Watchtower ending half the encores. And, I've made a couple jokes like that. And Talking Tunes, it says, yeah, sure, All on Watchtower is overplayed lately, but they've made it their own. It's a grand scheme of things. It's an okay encore from time to time. It sounds good. but I just don't. I just don't like it, even if it's just sporadically. I'd rather have it in the set, even if they play even if they play a Billy's, even if they play a Gray Street, which now without the third verse, without the slow speed, is not the same closer. But in Mansfield, I was like, hey, at least we didn't freaking get washed out. And then in Hartford, we didn't get washed out. We got the two-step Halloween, two-step Halloween. But I was like, Mansfield was a disaster. But hey, at least they did not end on Watchtower. They ended on Gray Street. I think they do a great job. The energy is there. I'm not going to deny the energy. I just don't like them playing Watchtower, and they've made it their own, but still, like mid set, whatever, end of set, whatever. But the end of show, I want to hear a DMB song. I don't care if it's ants marching. I don't, as long as it's not shaking like a monkey, I'm pretty much happy with any other song ending the show. It doesn't have to be a What You Are. Talking Tunes has brought that back into the mix on some of his set list picks. And I've always said I love that song. I would love it to end a set. I would love it to end a show. And Don't Drink the Water. Actually, you know what? Don't Drink the Water ended night one of SPAC last year. Oh, you're saying it next? Don't Drink the Water isn't. I mean, I've never been to a show, so I haven't experienced it live to end a show. I've experienced Don't Drink the Water way too many times live. But that's not as bad to end the show. I would be less mad, even though I like Watchtower more than Don't Drink the Water, just to end on a D&B show. But Watchtower, I don't like the covers ending, and I don't like now if they want to play Sledgehammer or whatever, that's their gonna go watch the Indians game. All right, enjoy that and just come back. But I don't know. I just feel like the D&B stuff to end it is a preference for me. And the covers I could do without. Sledgehammer, I'm starting to see why people don't like Sledgehammer. Last year at SPAC Night 2, I was dancing. I don't even dance at shows. I do a little move, side to side. I was going like everything. I was going all in. I don't know why. I just was feeling the energy. I was just so happy to be at SPAC. We had a JTR earlier, and I went ham during Sledgehammer, and it was fun. But they are just playing like they're playing it almost too much now. And I see why people don't like it, because when it's played over and over, it doesn't have the same effect as I had it once in 2014, then I waited a while. Yep, preacher to why I am. Also, D&B set list and Talking Tunes. The Quicken Loans Arena just changed to the Rocket Mortgage Arena or Loans Arena. Because I saw a picture on Twitter, and I noticed, because I know, I'm a big stadium buff. Oh, Field House, right? That's what it said, Field House. The reason I know this, I'm a stadium buff. Part of it's from video games, because you play all the video games, but I just know stadiums, and I know the name changes. So now it's the Rocket Mortgage Field House. Okay, that's this year, right? That's this year. I feel like I know, like, so I know, like, for instance, Jacobs Field, well, now it's Progressive Field, right? But that right across the street is the Q, right? And then even in Detroit, you have Ford Field and Comerica right there. And I know, like, in Kansas City, you have Kauffman and then Arrowhead in the same complex. In Philly, you have all of Philly is the only, South Philadelphia is the only professional sports town that has in the same complex venues for the arena that has basketball and hockey, Lincoln Financial for football, and you have Citizens Bank Park for baseball. It's the only one. Right, I heard about those renovations. Right, they're trying to. I mean, you had the scoreboard change a while back, and now they're trying to change everything. And I think in the upper deck they were moving stuff. The upper deck, weren't they in the last couple of years at the what was the Quicken Loans Arena? Now the Rocket Mortgage Field House or whatever it's called. They were doing construction right on the upper decks. They're fixing some stuff. So I know. Anyway, I pay attention to those details. Like Safeco Field is now T-Mobile Park. Globe Life Park is closing this year. Like I just know a bunch of some reason I remember venues. I love stadiums. I love going to different stuff. So I know when they make those changes to the year, I'll know when it's different. Um, there when they have a name. Anyway, so that was just the thing. But so what's up next? And they got a hockey team in there, right? Is the Lake Erie Monsters? Don't they play at the Rocket Mortgage? At the Lake Erie. The big house will never change. Well, that's because you don't have to pay players, Patrick. And in basketball, in basketball, you guys have what the Chrysler of the Cleveland Monsters. You guys have the court has a name, and then it's like the Chrysler whatever. Um, but yeah, Michigan can afford to do that because you have to pay players, eh? That's the thing is like all these fields, like Fenway Park is one of the few, the Chrysler Arena, and they have the courts. But that's the thing about football. Like, oh, well, the college didn't change. Like, well, you got to pay the players, man. Y'all getting payouts. The Big Ten contract is everyone gets paid out. And oh, you spotted Grace is gone, and OSU. Hey, but you know what though? Even if Ohio State loses and Michigan wins, you guys get a payout too. So if Michigan wins the national title, Ohio State wins the college football playoff, and Ohio State did win the college football playoff, everyone gets paid out. So as much as the rivalry is there, you kind of your school is secretly rooting for if they're out of it for the other team in the conference to win the college football playoff. So anyway, I'm ruining Santa Claus. Oh, sorry, Patrick. If Michigan wins, right? I know it's been a tough 15 to 20 years since that title with TB. Tom Brady as the backup. Was that Drew Henson? Was that Drew Henson who was a quarterback? That was before my time. Was that Drew? Was Drew Henson on that team? Was he the quarterback on that team? On that Michigan championship team? Okay, he was. Okay, yeah. And then he played baseball. He was with the Yankees AAA team. Yeah. Oh no! Oh, Brian Greasy. Brian Greasy. Right, who was the backup for John Elway in Denver. Oh, Greasy was okay. Why am I thinking of Drew Henson? I don't know. He was a quarterback though, but he played baseball too. He ended up playing AAA baseball with the Columbus Clippers. Ohio, there you go. You guys are Ohio. I'm a Yankees fan, but Greasy, right? So yeah, that was before my time. Henson was a QB in 2000. Okay, Henson. Okay, so that was after. Yeah. Anyway, let's get focused. We get. I'm telling you, I'm so easy to sidetrack. That dude was trolling last week about talking about women. Take the bait. So there's a couple of things that went on as well. So thanks for Talking Tunes for bringing it up. I saw it last night, but Talking Tunes again just sent a video, to me earlier today and just gave me some ideas and things like that. So shout out to Talking Tunes. But we have some Twitter chatter where Stefan is responding to people tweeting but not adding them. So he's not taking the time to give them that moment to say, "Hey, you were the ones who actually talking to." But he's not given the credit to give them the power to be tagged. But there's some chatter from a Twitter handle about the band being exhausted or tired. And even I've kind of said in these things, I'd rather have the band play less stuff because of Dave's voice. Not exhaustion as much as Dave's voice and Carter's hands and back. And maybe that is exhaustion or fatigue, but Dave's voice 3 nights in a row, that thing gets shot. And except the gorge, he can let it all out in the gorge like you're playing game 7. It's like the last 3 games of the Stanley Cup final. I played 5, 6, 7, let everything out. And who cares if there's shows after that? It's the freaking gorge. Your voice could be shot for what are they playing after that? They're playing like later. They're going to be Mexico, and they're doing the Bay Area. They're playing there, Oregon. Who cares about those shows? But anyway, he responded to critics last night and kind of just about if the band is tired, and he references Aquaman. I think Jason Momoa, Aquaman. Um, and plus, Mexico is not the resorts. It's not Dave and Tim where people are paying $5,000. Who cares about Mexico? They're paying regular prices to see. It would be different if they're playing. If it was at the resort. But let me do Stefan. And Stefan, he's strategic when he responds. Like he responded to Steve Lillywhite, kind of taking a shot at Come Tomorrow. I gotta scroll through the politics stuff. Okay. What did he? So I'm just taking a look on Twitter. I see the stuff about songs. He may have deleted it, but he kind of just said JTR. They're playing JTR? Yep. Oh, I just got the notification. Okay. That's great though. That's great because again, John Dix was usually on here with us. Talking to was a tweet about he compared like being exhausted to something else. Now the other tweet he talked about is he kind of responded to people. They want him to play certain songs in the catalog. And he says 17 hours ago, he said, there are some songs I wish we never had to write because that would mean those we love would be with us. Hashtag ASLAN Grux, hashtag Grux, hashtag Captain. So he talked about how these songs, he mentions these songs where he had to write because people passed. No word on that, Patrick, why they haven't streamed anything. I think the streams are for promotional purposes for an album. Because the thing is, SiriusXM, they're making money off of, they paid for the exclusive rights. They paid the band and whoever the check gets sent to. They pay them for those streams, and then SiriusXM does the streaming. They do all the costs to make sure it's streamed on SiriusXM. So the band has less overhead. Okay, so talking tunes, yes. Saying the band must be burned out is the same as calling Jason Momoa fat. Illogical public standards versus real life perspective. Ryan says, my buddy just texted me. He wants Don't Drink the Water Tuesday. He's give him the thought. No, you don't want Don't Drink the Water. Drink water, stay hydrated, but no. Yeah, we don't need that. But that was the first tweet and then he quotes, is it, what's the first name of Maynard? Is it Maynard of Tool? I don't know the members of Tool's names. I think that's his last name. Is it Keegan Bacon Maynard or something? I'm horrible. But James Keenan, and then James Keenan Maynard. Okay, so it's his last. So after he says there's some songs I wish he never would write because they would be me, it would mean those we love will still be with us. He says after this, sometimes music is healing, sometimes it's not. It's all your perspective of what heals your heart or what hurts your heart. Maynard of Tool once said, I've moved past the pain and anger I had when writing certain songs. Why would I want to relive that anger night after night? And I get this, and I respect that a lot of the best music comes from struggle. The best music comes one of the big things the issues that we have with athletes, whether they're young, college kids, whether they're older veterans, whether it's the arts of any kind, these writers in Hollywood, these actors in Hollywood. Look at the actors who play very crazy people or very complex characters. They get divorced. They have confusion. They are lost. Um, if you look at Hollywood, I did that the other day. Like I do that after I watch series, and you really look at the characters people play, and you look at their like married this time, divorced halfway through this series, or like you look at Jon Snow. He came here to Connecticut, and I'm a big Game of Thrones guy. Kit Harington, and he was so like he just was so heartbroken by the end of Game of Thrones. He put his life into this for so many years, and the fact that it was over was hard to grasp. But when you're in the arts of any kind, when you're on a stage in a fantasy, when you have these adrenaline rushes that you have when you're on a set, when you're seeing yourself on TV or on something, when you're performing in front of people and you have all this stuff, once things change, they put a lot of their normalcy at risk when they're performers, when they're entertainers, when they work nonstop to get it right. And Talking Tunes, he mentioned to me earlier, he thinks the subtweet, kind of referencing his late daughter. He's like saying we don't need to play Dreaming Tree anymore because he's past the pain of his daughter. And if that's the case, it's hard for me to say, hey, play Dreaming Tree tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say like that. That's a horrible situation, and a good friend of mine lost his son. He was born months early, and I was a premature kid. I was a month early. It's a very scary thing for a family. My mom had me a month early, and I was very, very thin. I don't know how much I weighed, but I was very, very skinny. And so to lose a child, let alone have a child premature, my friend, who's actually now like the co-pastor at my church, he lost like his son was born and then died very like the same day. It was very devastating, like heartbreaking, one of the worst funerals I've ever been to. A very sad situation. So losing a child, knowing someone who's lost a child, and knowing me being born premature, potentially they thinking that I wasn't gonna. I was fine. I was, they had me in a special unit, and I was fine. So she died from SID, sudden infant death syndrome. That's something very sensitive to me, and I work with kids, and I love children. I want children one day. So, my uncle too was born and died shortly after. One of my uncles that I never met, died, and it's it's something that a lot of families face. Losing a child, too many families face, and whether it's a miscarriage, whether it's right after birth, whether it's over time in the next couple months. I can empathize with that. And Don't Drink the Water was just played. And so it's like, if that's the case, if that's what Dreaming Tree is about, all right, scrap Dreaming Tree, whatever. Like, okay, I don't have to. But at least we're hearing something. And now, what Talking To said is now he's like, Stefan acts like he never has a say in the set list. It's what Dave wants to play, but now this turns the tables around. So maybe there are certain reasons that someone could step in and say, no, I don't feel comfortable playing this song. We're not playing it. And Dreaming Tree was played, I believe, last in 2015. Let me check the receipts on that. But Don't Drink the Water was busted out for today for the 400th time this year. There is blood in the water. And let me go to the all-time. It's funny, on the Almanac, I can go to a show where I've heard a song and find it quicker than going on the songs and finding the album that it's from. Dreaming Check all-time. Oh, they played it in no, they played it. Okay, so 2015 was the last full band one. but they played it 114. I think that was Dave and Tim. Yep, in Mexico. And then there's a partial on 420. A Dave solo. Oh, that was 2018. Dennis Kucinich fundraiser. So they played it last year in 2018. Yes, 2019. What am I talking? And then in a fundraiser last year. And before that, it was 2017, 4-1 and 613. Those are Dave and Tim dates because. Oh, you went to that? Oh, that was in Ohio, wasn't it? Okay. That was one of those midterm elections that he was gone. Hope that clown. I mean, my buddy's happy. Right? Yeah, I mean, people have different shows for different folks, man. I can't do don't drink the water. It's loud and rowdy, so it's a big crowd favorite for there at the venue. People aren't gonna boo it. People don't go to the bathroom during it, and it's like also, oh yeah, man, we're standing up for injustice. Yeah, like okay, well, the song's not gonna change the struggle that many Native Americans have. Anyway, the song doesn't do that. It doesn't magically make things better, and people are tone deaf to the message if they're not like it's not going to change many voices because people are tone deaf to the message anyway. And yeah, so that's that. What was I talking about? Yeah, that's oh the song choices. Yeah. So I mean that's it. But the thing is talking tunes. I played Dreaming Tree, and I've done a cover of it with my friend again, who I've done Big Eye Fish with, and so I play a lot of the other people's parts on the acoustic guitar when I'm playing with my friend, and I have John. John? Go back to the show, son. What are you doing? Get your behind off here. You were at SPAC night too. This Don't Drink the Water is loud AF. I'm not surprised. But today, hey John, don't step off that ledge, my friend. Okay, on some third eye blind ish. JTR was fired. Oh yeah, of course. That's good though. I'm glad. I'm rooting for you because I know you made this trip out. You see, the thing is, I talked up SPAC to John. I was like, "Yo, this is all right. You're gonna have a da 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 da." And he knows the allure of John of SPAC anyway. He doesn't need me to tell him that. Talking tunes is so loud I can hear it. All right, John. I'll see you. And don't drink the water. Oh my gosh. Oh man. But yeah, so that's John checking in. I wish we could like bring you in like CNN breaking news. We have John live at SPAC Night 2. There's people white boy wasted on White Claw seltzer. There are two people making out in the lawn, and somebody is under a blanket. So Ryan O'Connor, buddy, texted him, energy is way better tonight. By the way, another weird moment from SPAC. Shout out to Rab Stevenson. He was live streaming at the end of Bayou, and this couple in front of him, and this was funny about Rab's been twice from the lawn live stream today, before the show and then now during the show. And it's like I'm just worried that something that's not suitable for Instagram is gonna pop off because the SPAC lawn is wild, and there's people like go yeah, like in the lawn and fist pumping. And this couple was like making out after the first song. I'm like, it was freaking Louisiana Bayou. It's not like they acting like it was a liberation. They were like, I love you. They didn't say I love you. I'm over hyping it. But they were like just like starting to make out at the end of Bayou, like it was like the best song ever. And I'm like, okay, people, wait until you get something special. Wait till the end of the show to do that. Like the first song, that's too much PDA. Gotta chill. But what else? So, this was an interesting thing. Oh, SPAC Long Clown Fest. And follow at Typical DMB. The dude at DMB Pit Boss was cracking me up. Just at the campfire last night, having some video after the show, and he's on the Twitter handle tonight, just talking about the show. I was just dying listening to him talk about the show there. So shout out to DMB Pit Boss, who took over the Twitter handle there. And what else was I going to talk about? Oh, John Mayer versus DMB. So someone on, I think it was People in Every Direction. I get the pages mixed up. They were kind of saying, like, does John Mayer have the same ticket swap sites as DMB? And what's the visibility of John Mayer compared to Dave? And one of the things I was thinking about, because I'm going to back-to-back John Mayer shows. Oh, so yeah, the lawn is always wild. Clowns, yeah. But you need to come up to the Northeast, Patrick. Come to Hartford if you haven't been already. You will see in SPAC, Hartford and SPAC, you will see just, oh my gosh, you'll see everything. Like, it's everywhere. Don't get me wrong, it's everywhere. But Hartford especially is on steroids. There's like 22,000 people on the lawn, and we have nothing to do. See, at least SPAC, you can go down to New York City, and you have other stuff you can do. The other cities, you have other things to do. Connecticut, there's nothing to do except that. They should bring back the Clown, full band, the Clown, from because Dave performed it. Here on out, John hates Here on Out, but I love Here on Out. I don't know why he doesn't like it. No, SPAC is about 2 hours. It is. I mean, it's about the same. I mean, the thing is, Hartford is closer, but you have to go through 95. SPAC, you can take 87 down. Yeah, it is technically closer, but I don't know. Upstate New York just seems like there's more to do than Hartford. You have Lake George, you have Saratoga Springs, the racetrack, and then you can go down. I mean, you're in New York State, so people track down. Yeah, but no, you're right because Hartford is closer, but because people from Albany, I go to Yankees games all the time, and they're further from Yankee Stadium than me. So yeah, Hartford is closer, but I don't know. SPAC has more to do than just upstate New York. You have different things in different towns up there. But anyway, I'm gonna say something. Oh, John Mayer versus Dave Matthews. And I said this, I think that the peak of the Dave Matthews Band is bigger than anything John Mayer has had as far as crowds. John Mayer could never sell out a stadium. Okay. Even when he was winning Grammys. And now in popular culture, Dave Matthews Band had more of a longer reign, or just it had a unique hold on popular culture, especially for high school kids and college kids. But John Mayer has had more visibility as far as impact and as far as people who know who he is and vibe with him. He's more eclectic than Dave Matthews. See, Dave Matthews has the roots open up for him. He has Ben Harper. He has Spearhead. He has all this other stuff. But John Mayer is literally featured in, now Dave's in Work It Out for Jurassic 5. But John Mayer worked with Kanye West from the rip. He was on Chappelle's show. He's worked with Alicia Keys. He's playing with Dead and Company before he now embarks on his tour. See, Patrick, I disagree because if you actually like, now Your Body is a Wonderland is very easy to play. But if you try to play Neon by John Mayer, very hard to play. Very hard to play. And even like a Who Says by John Mayer stuff is harder to play than Dave Matthews. Like that Stop This Train. It's a very sentimental ballad. Like it's so much harder to play his stuff than it is to play Dave Matthews Band stuff. And like I can't even. I'm not even trying. But like it took me a lot longer to learn. Now with Dave Matthews, the endurance of the stone to play the stone, and I was like, I'm gonna play now. And the captain reaches, the captain bends. Can't get it. And like tripping billies, the reaches of it are very hard. What John Mayer is playing on his alleged bubblegum crap is very, very hard stuff to play. Like a slow dancing in a burning room, a belief, like the believers. Like that stuff is you gotta really be ready. You got taps, you got different stuff that's harder than the Matthews Band stuff. Um, I like his stuff because his songwriting is now, yeah, it may be more bubblegum, but Dave Matthews is bubblegum. I mean, if you listen to every day, oh lift me up, love, all about it. If you listen to some of the stuff Dave does, all you need is love. Like, don't burn the day. Like it's in a different light. But and it is different than the John Mayer. But I mean, Dave Matthews, his stuff is cliche. His stuff, the hard stuff is the hard stuff, but the soft stuff, satellite, I mean, that stuff is cliche. Crash into me. I mean, but the one thing I'll say is John Mayer has much more of a reach. And as much as people, I didn't get into him initially because I thought it was too poppy. But I started to grow to like some of the stuff. Like now, Your Body's in Wonderland. I'm not trying to hear that. But songs like 3 by 5, songs like even Only Heart. Right. And John Mayer has deep tracks too that if you listen to them, you listen to Continuum, you listen to like a lot of his deep tracks, and he plays them out live too. John Mayer's deep tracks are very bluesy, very funky, very soulful. The John Mayer trio stuff, but I get why people don't like him. I don't expect everyone to like him, but I think that when you look at DMB, they had more of crowds and like they have more albums that went crazy, but they also were in an era where albums sold more. John Mayer still has #1 albums, but by the time he gets out in the Apple iTunes era, you don't really get to see as much. Yeah, Dave's dark stuff is the best, and John Mayer, his dark stuff is good, but I'll take Dave's dark stuff over that. But John Mayer, the one thing I'll say about that is since I'm a fan of him, I don't really complain at John Mayer shows. I mean, I'd rather see in 2019, I'd rather see a John Mayer show than a Dave Matthews Band show. Now we go back to 2004, and they're both out in 2004. I'd rather see a Dave Matthews Band show. But in 2019, John Mayer he's still in his 40s. His new music is much better than what Dave's new music is, and I just think he's just all around craft of trade. And that's where it's hard to do. Because the thing is, too, part of Dave Matthews Band, Dave is, again, we talked about Charlottesville. He has Leroy Moore with them for years, RIP to Leroy. He has Carter Beauford. And like Carter's drumming is crazy. John Mayer is just by himself. Now, he works with Steve Jordan and Pino Palladino. Sometimes they tour with him, but other times he's bringing out other people to play these parts. So John Mayer has to do a lot more than he doesn't have a consistent Carter Beauford playing for him. Okay. He doesn't have a Boyd Tinsley to make his sound unique. John has to make himself unique. And he's won over Deadheads. I've seen Grateful Dead stuff at shows. Deadheads come to his full band shows. I mean, the solo shows. And that's the thing about John Mayer. His impact and his eclectic nature of what he can do musically. Play with a rapper, play with an R&B singer, play with a country music singer. He had there was a tour before his voice he had vocal surgery, and I'm going to see him in Providence this weekend. In college, he was supposed to tour with Casey Musgrave. Casey Musgrave right now, she's on fire. Now she's very pop country, but he was going to tour with her. She was going to be the opener. And Casey Musgrave is a very beautiful woman who is married and very talented. I don't want to take away from her talent, but she is a very beautiful woman. who happens to be talented as well. Shout out to her. But Casey Musgrave at Farm Aid, who at Farm Aid, she was looking very beautiful, respectfully. But Casey Musgrave, Lord Jesus, um, just very, very beautiful. Anyway, respectfully, she has talent. I'm not minimizing it to her beauty because she's talented as well. But no, she was. Yeah, but the Deadheads were so critical of John when he decided to go with Dead and Company. A lot of Deadheads are Fish fans, so when they were doing the fairly well, Dead and Company was cool. But um, and yes, Ryan O'Connor, he says no Dave Matthews, no John Mayer. His words, Virginia Beach, yeah, the Virginia Tech fundraiser after the shooting. Yeah, I don't like Fish. I'm not a huge. I just never got into Fish, but I like Grateful Dead, and I'm listening through their albums. I mean, I've listened to them for some years now, but I'm listening through each album each week now. So every week I'm going in order and listening through an album just to really go back to those studio tracks. Because as a Deadhead, you always are going to see this live stuff, but I'm going back to the albums to really listen to them because I wasn't alive when these albums came out. Um, I was born in 1990, so by the time I started getting to the Dead, I was listening to the live stuff because that's what you do. You listen to live stuff. Anyway, um, but yeah, no Dave Matthews, no John. But at the same time, John Mayer also was influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan, by BB King. So what John does better, head to head, John Mayer is far superior to Dave Matthews, head to head. Take out the bands, take out what they do. John Mayer is a better guitar player. When you go to his show, that's what makes his shows better too. When you go to his shows, you can get an acoustic song with just John Mayer, like a John Mayer solo song versus a Dave Matthews solo song. John Mayer, hands down, because he does that every show. He does a couple of acoustic songs, just him. He's doing the percussive hits. He's doing all this other crazy stuff on acoustic guitar, like just jamming out like it's nothing. And he kills it. Where Dave solo, it's beautifully sounding, and some of his techniques are great. But John Mayer is just beyond better. And part of it is because Dave Matthews was meant to be Dave Matthews, which means you head this band, you sing, you're gonna tour more. Because this thing is, head to head, Dave has had more tour endurance than John. John had to have surgery on his throat. He's had some issues where he had to take some time off. Now he's touring more heavily again. But Dave has had the endurance to be this tour boss of playing all this stuff. He wasn't meant to be John Mayer. John Mayer is more of an entertainer and an artist. Dave Matthews entertains, but he's part of a band. He's the front man. He's the MC of the band. He's not the full-fledged entertainer to do this and that and go from here to here. Like Stevie Wonder goes from his harpsichord to his pianos to his organ. Like that's an entertainer. But Dave is meant to be just like the front man. He's a true Mick Jagger with the guitar. Yeah, Dave did create his own style, but in that way, the Dave chords for sure. But in John Mayer he really is like he can play Jerry, he can play Stevie Ray Vaughan, he can play BB King. So that is true. Dave did really, and that's why I think on a live stream he played a little bit of Satellite and a couple. I think he played Warehouse, something else. He was playing some of the stuff there on a live stream. But that's the one thing you say about Dave too is his originality with acoustic guitar, and that's why I think he says without Dave Matthews making acoustic guitar popping, John Mayer doesn't sit on the side. Because I know my boss in college, I went to Eastern Connecticut. One of my hall directors, who was my boss at the time, Ryan O'Connell, Nancy's is showing up on my phone. She actually grew up in Fairfield, Connecticut, and John Mayer used to play acoustic guitar at a gas station. People always saw him there back when he was in his high school days. And so he used to play acoustic guitar, at a gas station, that type of stuff. Without Dave Matthews, that's not what he's doing. Acoustic guitar became cool because of a Dave Matthews. You have your Wonder Walls too. You have your Oasis, and you have your other stuff that people want to say Slide by the Goo Goo Dolls. But Dave Matthews, like when you play a Dave Matthews Band song, you play it like it just sounds a lot more fuller. It's not the same three chords. You're playing some cool stuff, and that's why a lot of acoustic guitarists got into Dave. Now for impact, this generation is going to be more. John Mayer will have much more of an overall impact because he was able to be a bridge. He's not as much of an originator as much as he's a bridge to other people. Now at the same time, John Mayer has some tap tempo stuff, some flicks of the wrist, some stuff that he does technique wise that have never been combined by different guitar players and been popular. There's been a lot of great technique. Look at Stanley Jordan. And some other guys like Humphreys was inspired by this guitar player who was more of an instrumentalist. One of the Anchors Drop Redux videos, they talked about how they got a song from him. But I mean, John Mayer, he's been a bridge he's brought kids my age. I'm 28 and even younger than me now. He brought us into the Grateful Dead, even though I had listened to the Grateful Dead before, but when John joined them, that's when I really started to understand it better. Plus, I was older. I was in my mid 20s versus when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, the Dead didn't make sense to me. Alternate rock made sense. I got my Linkin Park shirt on right here, represented. That's when I was that age, that's what I was into. That's what I understood. But as I got older, I started to get more into jazz, the soul, the funk, R&B, more older R&B as my taste evolved. Some people can get into Grateful Dead at 16. I couldn't. But like Stanley Jordan, he's not winning. Now he can win Grammys for like his performances on smaller albums, but John Mayer's winning like he was nominated for like Song of the Year. You know what I mean? Like he's being nationally recognized. He's selling out big arenas. So he made it with a lot of different stuff. Stevie Wonder's the same way. A child prodigy who he opens for the Stones in '69, and then all of a sudden Stevie Wonder in the '70s just blows everyone away. Had a great '60s too, but in the '70s he's world touring. It's very hard for guys to get for musical talents to be respected at such a high level and have a high talent. A lot of the music industry is about image and a little talent. I mean, that's not to discredit the Keith Urbans and the other people and even the Dayman. Like it's not to discredit anyone, but it's hard for the prodigies to make it big. I remember seeing Quinn Sullivan, very talented guitarist. He reminds me of, if you guys know Tad Niederreiter, I'm pronouncing it wrong. He's going around now and he's popping. That was Quinn Sullivan like 10 years ago. Because I saw him open up for BB King. This kid, Quinn Sullivan, went on Ellen at like 6 or 7. He was slaying guitar solos, but he couldn't translate it into a solo career. Same thing. Well, I hope Taz, I wish him the best of the best, and I hope that we need people like Taz to bring music to the next generation. We also need another great point that the Fish frontman Trey Anastasio said is we can't have all these people just playing versions of Pink Floyd and of the Grateful Dead. We need the next generation to push the genre of originality forward as well, as Dave Matthews did for his generation. We need guys like Taz Niederreiter to also create their own stuff. And music is getting to a point, just like TV is getting to a point where now in the modern era, we've kind of peaked out. But if we can just move it around and have a little more, not so obviously like, was it Van Fleet? I'm mixing it up, but I think it's Greta Van Fleet that sounds like Zeppelin. Like we have to. Oh, Preacher went into Grace is Gone, did it? Or it wasn't Why I Am? Let me check that. Oh, the Tribe lost. Wow, so it did go into Y. I mean, to raise. That's pretty cool. Instead of YIM. What are we on the set? 17. There was what 2021 last night, but that's because they count all those mashups. Yeah, it went to 21, but they were counting like the Back in Black Staying Alive was one, so we really had like 20. And Fly Like an Eagle too. I mean, if you want to count that, I know those controversy talking tunes, and I know I agree with you. It's like to me, it's a segue. It's not the full song, so I don't think it should count as a song anyway. But yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens. Do we get a double encore tonight? Yeah, the hub is broke. I had to go on Almanac. But do we get a double encore? We didn't get it last year when I went to SPAC night too, because my belief is they had to go to Canada the next day. You got to go over the customs and all that. So they, Dave was even sitting down at one point in the encore. So do we get a double encore? I hope we do, but I don't know. Hey, what's up? DMB Mamas is in the house. Double encore, yeah. Hopefully. I'm talking tunes is checking his DMB setlist score. But yeah, John Mayer. I mean, I think they're both great, but I'd rather see John Mayer now in 2019. No, at the Gorge. If they both went to the Gorge, I'd rather see Dave because it's Labor Day weekend. But any other venue, I'd rather see John Mayer right now. That's my personal opinion. I just love what he's doing, and he's more in the prime. And that's one of the things that, as DJ bands, the revivalists, the record company. There's just so many great bands. Snarky Puppy. Now there's still smaller venues. They still have a lot more. They have plenty of time to grow. But like there's so many bands right now that if you get too caught up in DMB, you're going to miss these other bands' rises. And also the other thing is the ticket prices for certain bands are good. Now they're going to go up. Look at the Black Keys. The Black Keys ticket prices are ridiculous now. I saw them back the El Camino tour, and let me see what they are. Let me just look these up. And this tour, I'm like, I gotta pass. Turn those thumbs down in the upper. Let me just look at the Black Keys. Your stream, don't stop. Be streaming. Your stream stopped. You gotta hold on to that feeling. Don't stop. Be streaming. That was cheap. Okay, you're back. All right. Let me see the Black Keys. But like that's the thing is these artists blow up and then the ticket prices can get pretty crazy. And you get less. Like DMB right now, ticket prices go up. There's no opener. That's why I'm stoked. Oh, that's what we gotta talk about. The Gorge. Hold on. But let me look at the Black Keys. Black Keys. So like the TD Garden, Let's Rock tour. Stay. Number 40. Uh-oh, number 40, guys. Number 40 is in the building. Number 40. Oh my gosh, this Black Key show is not selling that well. Good Lord, they have tons of seats open. I'm at the TD Garden. 175 plus fees close to the stage. There it is, number 40. Yep. Every year, it's funny because I say this to Deer Creek. How many, Deer Creek is the best. Yeah, we love Deer Creek. How many times I got number 40? Huh? How many times have you got JTR? Now, you've gotten it a couple of times, but how many times? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, no, you don't have a number 40? Oh, double encore? Oh, no double encore at Deer Creek. Interesting. Because SPAC gets double encores pretty regularly. I always give them a hard time. 175. You got to be kidding me. So a number 40 into stay. You have to be kidding me. That's why this tour isn't selling. The Black Keys they're from Ohio, Akron, right? Oh, it's 40 for the full band. Oh, yeah, because you have Dave and Tim. Dave and Tim played in 2017. Yeah, the acrobat. So they came from humble beginnings, and their following was like, yeah, they're this is rock music we can vibe with, but these ticket prices are ridiculous for the keys, and they're a great act. They're a great act, but some of the newer music, you know, to pay all this money and they don't play the older stuff. The newer music's not bad, whatever, it is what it is. But like 195, like these seats are 195 towards the aisle. They're not even at the aisle. They're two seats from the aisle, and they're 195. You got to be kidding me! Like these ticket prices are ridiculous, and this venue is not sold out. There's still face value tickets, and this is what happens when Ticketmaster plays broker. Yeah, 195. Yeah, 195. Now this is close to the stage, but still. And then the floor, the first couple of rows are like they're not even called platinum tickets, they're called standard tickets, and it's 449.50 for like third or fourth row. They're not calling them platinum. I think they found out platinum, when you call it a platinum seat, people get offended. The face value tickets are 449, three rows from the stage. Like, and again, I love the Black Keys. Really great live. But I'm not paying that money. I was gonna say I got kids to feed. I got a Gore trip to go to. I ain't dropping 175 for the keys. I mean, if it was like the Stones, I'll pay 175 for this, but for the Black Keys, no. And again, great band. They had their beef with Jack Black. I mean Jack White, not Jack Black. Jack White. Their kids, I think, went to like the same daycare, allegedly. For like these tickets, oh my god, good lord! And they're just the tickets are chilling him. Um, the side stage is 175. Yeah, nah, girl, bye, bye, Felicia. Balcony is 95. The cheapest tickets, they're saying it's ILC. Oh, they got some $70. So some of the cheapest tickets are like $70. This ILC thing is wild. That the Ticketmaster is doing, but I guess I get it. People want to sit by the aisle, but they're not selling them. They're not selling still seats. They're charging like 20, $30 more for aisle, or 20, the extra 10 or $20 for the aisle seats. But this, I mean, this is Boston. This is a big market. Let's look at the Barclays Center for the Les Rock tour. Oh, there's not even now the lower level a little more filled. Wait, please don't tell me these seats are $242. 320. Oh, those are platinum seats. They're wilding with these prices. Now it's New York City, so it's a little more fuller, but still, Black Keys didn't sell New York City. I mean, the last tour they filled it up. The last or the I think they're gonna have a Halloween. I don't think they're gonna do last stop at SPAC. This show. Now, hey, expect unexpected. The way this show is going, I don't think it's gonna be last stop. Someone on DMB Family said this sentence is the worst. I want to read. I think he was trolling. Someone on DMB. Can I request a spiritual experience section? I am on the lawn and the girl next to me won't shut up. Oh, the other funny thing is, and if you're watching, I can't remember her name. Shout out to someone in from DMB Family posted a picture from the pit. Dave took their phone, and she went to high school with me. the face looked familiar, and I checked Facebook, and we have like 5 or 6 mutual friends. So I think her name was Sierra. Shout out to Sierra. Um, First off, we went to South Windsor High School was predominantly white school, not many black people, and she's black. So like I was like, first of all, you kind of know the black faces, even if you don't know who they are. Like, oh yeah, all right, black, black. But anyway, so I went to predominantly white school. So she posted, I'm like, wait, that looks friend. I just clicked her page to see, and I was like, we have a bunch of mutual friends. But she graduated the year before me from that same high school. And it was kind of crazy because I'm like, wow, she's in DMV family and it's like a DMV fan, and we're from the same school. I'm like, what are the odds of that? Her picture, they took her phone and took a picture, did a selfie, which was kind of cool. But I was like, wait a minute. I was like, not to be creepish, but yeah, small world. And Connecticut is small too. So there's not many people from Connecticut in general across the country. So someone to be at SPAC, and then it was a cool little experience. But yeah, so next week I won't be live streaming because I'll be going to back mayor shows. Albany on Friday, the U.S. tour opener. He's been overseas, and I didn't tell her about the feed. I should have, but I was like, I don't want to promote. Oh, by the way, check me out on this page. Like that'd have been too much. I already asked if she was from a town. I was like, that's a little creepy. Anyway, but if you're watching Sierra, I think her name was, yeah. Shout out for you, South Windsor High School represent. Back in CT. But let's say, but so yeah, I won't be here because next week because I'm going Friday, Saturday, Albany and Providence. So I'm going one way 2 hours, another way an hour and a half. Going to see Oasis. What? You mean Noel Gallagher and the Flying Birds? What do you mean going to see Oasis? They didn't come back together, did they? Didn't they break up? They ain't on no Champagne Supernova anymore, which was a song I used to in college. I used to go when I'd have trouble going to sleep. I would listen to Champagne Supernova on my iPod. Now they don't make iPod shuffles anymore. I had an iPod Nano though. I think that's what I listened to. So listen to that joint, and just that would help me go to bed. Yeah, that's pretty much an hour and 30 right now. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? DMB Mamas, thank you so much for supporting me. Same thing in talking tunes. Thanks for everyone, but DMB Mamas is always retweeting talking tunes too. About Ryan and Patrick, you guys are always on here. Appreciate you guys. Oh well, DMB Mamas will be at the West Palm Beach shows, right? Or did you do one? I think you guys, you guys will both be at that in the West Palm Beach, Tampa and West Palm Beach. So, yep, you guys are both doing both. So you guys are both. I don't know how you guys are doing that. That heat. Okay, occur. That pit. I don't even know how hot that pit. They should have central air. Um, I don't know how I don't know how you can afford because and the thing is, they do Houston and Dallas earlier, even though it could be really hot in those areas, even in May. But still, Florida in July, you wake up. Okay, I was in Jacksonville. I stayed over a night in Jacksonville in 2009 with my family. You're gonna freeze. Talking tunes. You're from Ohio. How are you gonna you're gonna have to acclimatize, like how they do, the altitude sickness and all that. They have to train like they have to when you go to Mount Everest, you have to acclimatize. Talking tunes, you're gonna go from just Ohio, it's the breezes off the river. I mean the Lake Erie, sorry, not the river, Lake Erie, comes all the way through the Cuyahoga County. Nice little breeze you feel. When you go to Tampa and West Palm Beach, you are going to feel like an oven. You can't stand the cold and snow. Oh, I love the snow. I love the snow. No, no, talking to it's not warmer there than it is there. No. The temperature is higher. It's higher. It's higher. Let me look up. Let me look up Hawaii. Let me see what the temperature is. The temperature is higher, but the humidity down south is different. When it's 72 degrees, like Miami Beach is 85 right now. That's Miami Beach. Miami Beach has a breeze. Yeah, it was 93, but right now in Cleveland it's 80. So I mean, even if you're not in Cleveland, just like general area. In West Palm Beach, 89 down there. Yeah, and West Palm Beach, see, Miami gets more of the breezes. Key West and Miami get little more of the breezes. Even though West Palm Beach is on the coast, it gets hot across Florida. 40 was a tease. Well, he always does a tease. Like, I think it would have been huge if they did the full thing. I didn't expect him to do the full thing. So it was a tease, not even a partial. Okay. We'll have to watch the game tape to review it. No, no, all it was talking tunes. It wasn't. You have to. Your verbiage is wrong. The temperature was higher up here than it was down there. That happens in Connecticut too. Last week or 2 weeks ago, it was hotter here. I mean, no, I just said it. I messed up. Language. The temperature was higher. The temperature was higher in Connecticut than it was in Miami, but the heat index I landed in April. This is April of last year, and I go down to Florida and Georgia all the time, down south to visit family, friends, and so on. I landed at like midnight, okay, in Broward County, Fort Lauderdale International Airport, whatever it's called, and took an Uber with my parents, mom and dad, and me in the back. Take an Uber down to Miami. They dropped me off at my hotel. They dropped my parents off at their hotel. When we got outside in Fort Lauderdale, then when I got dropped off to walk to my hotel in Miami, it was like it was April at nighttime and it felt like 85 degrees outside at midnight. This is April, folks. This is not May, June, July. This is not July, August. It's April. Oh, you went in November. When you came back home, it was 29. Oh, oh, that's crazy. Wait, what are they saying? What are the songs? Last stop? What is it? What is the encore? See, this DMB Hub is not the DMB Hub is Britney Spears 2007 in right now. It is just it can't handle this. Oh, Sledgehammer. Oh my god. John is gonna leave. Oh my god. There's no curfew though. There's no curfew at SPAC. There's no curfew. Oh my god. Sledgehammer. Yeah. And the encore. Oh, I guess we'll stay on. We'll stay on for this. See what the encore is. There is a curfew. I don't think there's a curfew at SPAC. There's so because the thing is the town like maybe there is. I don't know because where it's located, it's in a park, but like downtown Saratoga is like it's not far from downtown Saratoga. It's still a little ways from the city, but that whole area like there's not houses right there. There's a little bit. It's still the woods, and then you get to the residential areas. So I don't think there's a curfew. And plus, Downtown Saratoga this time of year is popping. Okay, you got the horse racing, as Mike Francesa says, a local radio host. Yeah, I don't know. There may be a curfew that's just not a soft curfew. Say, hey, just try to wrap it up by then. But I mean, Fish plays here, the Grateful Dead and Company plays, and Dead and Company runs late. Okay, them dudes is old, except John Mayer and Jeff Simonetti. Them dudes are old. They take a long set break, and they played SPAC the last couple of years. They go late. They get on stage late. They have a long set a set break. Okay. First time Sledgehammer played in the E1. First time entire crowd left. First time entire crowd left before E2. Wow. I'm telling you though, last year Sledgehammer, I was dancing, man. I was They better not end on a cover. I mean, I know they're gonna play some. I love Peter Gabriel, and you know what? You know what made me? Because this is what made me lose hope in some DMB fans. Somebody tried to say that. I think I said this on another stream. They tried to say Dave Matthews Band does Sledgehammer better than Peter Gabriel, and I had to pull up Live in Athens, 1987, the music video from that of Sledgehammer that they recorded from that show's video footage. I'm like, drop. I just went boom, drop mic drop. No, they don't do it better than Peter Gabriel. No, they don't do it better than Peter. No, they do not do it better than Peter Gabriel. So this is show number 40. Okay. Oh man, poor John. They need to do. Someone text Dave that the last stop was written by Bob Dylan. Yeah, he's gonna be inspired. Let me blow my nose. Wow. It is. Listen. Also, one of my favorite chords or parts to play in a DMB song is that little part in JTR when you have your. This is what my hands look like. But it sounds so great. And then when I go to Guitar Center and play it on the 12 string, woo! Play that on the 12 string, yeah. And then the other part that sliding this little hand up, the pointer finger. That little bass move. Woo! Blue water. Oh, hold on. Oh my God. He said blue water. Blue water. Lord Jesus. Uh-oh. Blue. Oh, that's so John just texted me blue water. Oh my God. Lord Jesus. People are running back. This is like the Miami Heat. There was a playoff game where all these fans left. I think it was an NBA Finals game, and the team came back, and fans were trying to run back to their seats. This is what probably happened. People were like, "What Sledgehammer? I'm out." Oh, blue water. Just put the blue. Wow. We'll see. We'll wait for the drop. Blue water. I got a partial in Hartford. I would love a full blue water. And the thing is, all blue water is, let me just show. So some of you guys play guitar. All blue water is, you did, Ryan, is just the E minor, which is just two hands. You take these two hands, or you can take these two hands. You just go, and then you make a C chord. That's the whole song. Why they can't play that? Then you go to typical situation from that too. Oh, just the first verse. Blue water partial. They call it a partial. That was that made my 2013. I didn't even know what the heck blue water was back in 2013 because I wasn't into the deep cuts like that. And I was like, this is I don't know what this is. This is dope. Hartford Night 2. Um, four times in 2013 was a great year. It was a great year. Great touring year. I mean, that's where I heard Dreaming Tree. Like, and I know this is the 50th time I've said this, but you got to remember, I didn't start going to D&B shows till 2012. Before that, all I was listening to was the main stuff: the What Would You Say, the Crash Into Me's, the Satellites, P&P Rapunzel. Oh no, no, they're not gonna end. They got to go into P&P Halloween. It better be P&P Halloween. They can't end on Rapunzel on SPAC. SPAC Night 2. Drake, they can't end on that. And oh, that's what we got to talk about while we're waiting for this encore. The thing with SPAC is, oh, PNP Sweet Emotion. Okay, that okay, but they still need. They can't end on a cover again. They need to. It better be something else after double encore. They can't end on the. They can't end on a cover both. Are you joking? Stop! Don't joke, okay? This is not. This is serious. But one of the things is, um, when you go to a SPAC, the prices are. Stop talking to me. Shut up. Okay, you've been muted until we find out what the end of this set is. It's funny when it's not the actual encore of SPAC, and it's just like you're making up stuff for a show. But PMP fish tender. You know. Imagine that they just chilling here till like 11:30. A big eye fish and the bartender. It's like midnight. All right. Rapunzel. All right. That can't be the end. They're gonna go back, regroup again. Highway to Hell, Lady Gaga. Yeah, Poker Face. Highway Hell to Poker Face. To Just Dance. Like, yeah. But with SPAC, the other shows are expensive too. Alpine is hard to find stuff. But Saratoga Springs, like someone bought tickets on StubHub back in January or February, and last night they were told the tickets. Essentially, they bought them back then, and the tickets. Beetle Blackbird. The tickets. Someone called them from StubHub, and then they said the tickets weren't invalid or something. They had to cancel the order. They weren't going to come. And that knowing people who work there at StubHub, there's sometimes these orders fall apart. A broker who they trust or someone that they thought they validated. Sometimes their tickets get canceled out too, especially if they have warehouse tickets and they're trying to do it that way. Tickets get invalidated, so orders do get canceled. But with SPAC, it's there were no pavilion tickets left last night. Only long. A lot of hard stock, very few mobiles, and even people who have mobiles, they go in. They're not selling their tickets. So SPAC is you pay a lot of money, you pay a premium, but you know that you're not going to get your typical set. They're going to really end on Rapunzel. And this is the thing is, and I'm trying not to do this with other shows, but when it comes to SPAC, when it comes to Alpine, when it comes to Deer Creek, these are shows where you're gonna pay more than the typical show. And Hartford's the same. Hartford's expensive, but these are 2-night stands, so there's no excuse for the band not to play out certain things and really go out of their way. So when you have these disappointments of just the set last night, anywhere else, heck of a show. They played that in Hartford. Yo, we got Joyride. You telling me we got Joyride? I'm happy. They played it in Mansfield. That was bad. I'd be happy. Man, this DMV hub is broken. It is like our Connecticut state government. It is broken. But when you have a show, and thank God they only played one song from Stand Up. If they did Stand Up and Bayou in the same, Almanac is broke. Yep. It stopped at Sledgehammer. Oh no, it's loading, but a 40 partial. I mean, oh, we got a tease. So they said partial this year, last year's a tease. So the last time, this is what I did when people were talking about Deer Creek was like the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm sure it's a great venue, and I may go there next year. I'm choosing between Alpine and Deer Creek, and John Dix is going to help me out there, give me some hospitality, get me hooked up with so we can get like a hotel thing or something. We got time to plan. But last year, so it's like, all right, Deer Creek, we got number 40. The last time number 40 was played fully, 2015. Oh, look, Saratoga Springs. And then it was teased in 2015 in Saratoga Springs. So they did a 40 tease. This is the thing is, they did a 40 tease on July 3rd. And then in July 4th, they did a full number 40. Like that's how frequently SPAC gets number 40. They played back-to-back nights. One time was a partial and another time was a full time. In 2015, that was the same weekend as the Fare Thee Well in Chicago. That's it. That's the show? They left on Rapunzel? Are you kidding? Wait, they gotta come back. We'll wait to see. I don't know. Is your friend texting you from there? He said the lights are the house lights on. Oh, there is a second encore. Okay. Second encore. Let's see, because if someone's there, Ryan, if your friend's there, see if the house music is on. If the house music is on and the house lights are on, then that means it's over. As you know, you guys all know, you guys have been to tons of shows, some of you more than me, most of you guys more than me. But if your friend is saying that the house, if you can get if your friend insider information, I'm gonna see if John did it end on. Poor John. He's gonna be like, yo, I don't believe the hype of SPAC. I'm sorry, John. If you're watching the rebroadcast and you made it through the first hour and 54 minutes, I'm sorry. On behalf of New England and in upstate New York and the Northeast, I apologize. You know what's funny too? John was staying with someone in Connecticut, and It's funny if you live in New England, you know this. Certain houses don't have air conditioning, and it gets hot up here. Again, temperature wise, even without the heat index, it gets hot up here. We can have a day, and I know out in Ohio, you guys get it, in the Cleveland area. There'll be times in the spring. One day it's 91. The day before, the high was like 40. Number four, like, it goes from 40 to 90. Like it can jump temperature. Like it's, but in the Northeast, we don't have air. Some of these homes are so old that they just have an AC unit, so like a plug-in unit doesn't heat up everything. I mean, cool up everything. We don't have central air. They're breaking it down. Oh, no. John, I'm so sorry. They're breaking down the set. I hope they come out on the lawn. Dave should come out on the lawn and do an acoustic dodo. Yeah, talking to. Don't like the weather. Wait 5 minutes, it'll change. Yep, that's how it is here too. Oh my god! Like there's been days I'm running one day and it's 30 degrees. The next day is 70, 80. They should do an acoustic dodo on a lawn. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. A Rapunzel ending? What? For night, like that's and this is again because I know what people did to get. They would come back if Dave starts playing acoustic. Lights on, like the house lights or like the lights back. Acoustic light. Is that what your friend said? If they're tearing it down, I'm guessing the house lights are on. That's what you mean. Because I said I was asking you with the house lights, but and again, I know this band plays this hard. I know the band is more together than they've ever been, more cohesive than they've ever been with this current formation. But I, I there was no reason why there wasn't a two-step Halloween in them. There's no reason why Halloween in general, a fake into Halloween, a Halloween by itself, a what you are, like this was for again the sacrifice people make for this weekend. The prices that they pay, it's because they know any other show, um, venue emptied. Oh my god, I feel so bad for John. This is because again, the sacrifice people make. DTE, I heard, was a lot of fans who are just casual fans or don't know the band who are there for a good time. So when they play a set like they did at DTE, that's expected. But SPAC is like Fenway Park, is like Yankee Stadium. The fans know the baseball. They know their music, know their DMB. Oh my God. Yep. John just texted me Rapunzel. Oh my. I have to apologize. Because he made this trip. I don't know. I think I would have rather been here as Saturday because of JTR. I mean, you had Joyride in that little Fly Like an Eagle joint. Let me look at the set. Plus, I like Line in the Hands of God. Hmm. I think I would have rather been here tonight because you have no Jimmy thing. You only have one stand up. You have a pig. Yeah, don't forget they had pig tonight. Okay. Seen a worse quarterback. Yeah, don't forget they played pig. Yeah, Saturday was better. Sledge. I mean, outside. I know it's Sledgehammer, but Blue Water Partial 40. That's two. Nancy's. That's three. JTR. That's four. Say goodbye. That's five. And then Pig, that's 6. And I'll give 7 to Line in the Hands of God, 8 to Love or Lay Down, just special songs. I did use Cool too, and a couple other songs. 41's nice again and again. I don't mind those. But as far as like grade A, I mean, when you look at the set, because Pig is so early, I think that last year's show was better just because they had JTR and last year's night 2 was better. Now I was there too, but you had a better ending. You had a 2-step, and 2-step. Remember, a 2-step wasn't being played. They played it at Dare Creek, but going back to last year, although we had, but last year we did have Jimmy thing. We had JTR into Big Eye Fish to Love or Lay Down. That was a great hit off the bat. Oh, we did have Bayou last year. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. But we had a bartender. Huh. I mean, the encore is better last year. I think you could argue that the set was better this year. I'll have to listen back to it because last year was a 40 T's in the sister in a 2-step. I mean, that's just, and it was a 16-minute 2-step. It wasn't the bridge one. But now that I look at it, like Steady as We Go was cool. It was definitely cool. And but it was still Steady as We Go. Look at the repeats. So they repeated a lot of the same songs from last year's night 2, this year night 2. So you have again and again JTR, Love or Lay Down, that's 3, Sledgehammer's 4, Bayou is 5, Hearing Out is 6, 41 is 7, PMP is in Rapunzel is 8, 40 is 9. So they repeated 9 songs. There were 9 songs that were played last year in SPAC Night 2 that were played tonight. If PMP and Rapunzel is just a package deal. That's just rough estimating. I'm looking at night 2 and I'm looking at what we had today. So yeah. Interesting. Yeah, so 9. So now JTR, please repeat it every night. Number 40, please repeat it every night. You can play number 40 times in the show. Well, maybe that's a little excessive. JTR. Yeah, so interesting that they had them about 9. But yeah, that's it. Let me get out of here. It's 11:19. You don't get this. Yeah, I mean, who knows? There's a lot of different reasons. I just think the biggest thing with this is, again, this set would be awesome anywhere else. But for SPAC Night 2, it's the Stanley Cup Final. It's the NBA playoff. It's not an exhibition game or regular season game where people bench. Your best player, they're up 20 points. They bench their best players to prevent injury. They take Tom Brady out because they're beating up on the Browns. So even with Baker Mayfield, because they got a lot of proof. Odell, get them on the same page. If things go bad, they're gonna go bad in Cleveland this year. People have high hopes, but they don't have a lot of leadership, and the head coach is not. I don't think he has the strategies. And then to have Baker and Odell, those personalities. Anyway, I don't know, but I'll let DMB set list go ahead and do your set list review. 11-5. We'll see. We're interested in the division. I mean, that division is always interesting. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, guys. 12-4. You guys, Baker Mayfield. I don't know. I don't know. He has talent, but he's got to put his money where his mouth is. And Odell not showing up, the commitment. I'm a Patriots fan, so you've been right the past 3 years. Well, we'll see. But the thing is, these guys have to put in the time. These young guns, and I like Baker's confidence because a lot of guys don't have confidence. But the confidence, you got to have the game film. You have to have the strategy. You have to have. If Odell has to be at these OTAs for chemistry, it's going to be a big year of building chemistry. Cold weather, how's he going to do in the cold weather? With again more pressure this year than last year. Last year you had nothing to lose. You're a rookie. Still pressure, but not you're a rookie. Now you're second year. There's more game film on you. Anyway, let's stop talking about that. But I'll tell you this: in football, it's all about the preparation. When you have these coaches who get these players in line, when they're focused, when it's not about, oh, I hate the Patriots, I'm talking trash to them during the week. When it's not, I'm focused on the game and the strategy and audibles, and I don't outplay myself. I don't outthink Belichick and get worried about him. I'm worried about my team. That's how you win. But anyway, it's your boy Constantvis34. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys. Donate to Farm Aid. Hashtag DMB fans for farmers. Please, please, please. Even if you don't do the hashtag, donate to Farm Aid beyond this little contest. Talking Tunes and I are running. Donate. But if you can post that on Twitter, it'd be great. But please donate. These farmers are in dire need. Dire need. Farms are shutting down. I was driving by to go to my parents today and go jog in my old stomping grounds in here in Connecticut. And someone who had a farm, they're making a building right there. Two-Step. Oh, wait, breaking news. Apparently, Two-Step was cut. He started strumming it. Oh, well, we got to get the. We'll find out in a little bit. Check Twitter. Check, DMB fan, check the forums. But apparently, Two-Step may have been cut. We'll see. Someone will post a set list from Rab or from someone very soon. Wow. Swiss guitars for Blue Water and Rapunzel. Wow. So yeah. So what John said is he started strumming it and then switched guitars for Blue Water and Rapunzel, which is weird because Rapunzel and Blue Water and Two-Step on the same one. But we got to see this set. If Two-Step is cut, this is going to be a controversy. This will be a controversy if there is a Two-Step and if there's a Halloween after that, if there's a double encore and those are crossed out, ooh, the fan base is gonna go one other. People be grateful the band is touring. Yeah, I wish that would work. Like whenever I get married, if I could say, "Honey, be grateful I'm alive." Okay, sure, I could do better with cleaning and cutting the grass, but be grateful that I'm alive, honey. Put things in perspective. And I appreciate DNB as much as we have these little banters and things. I appreciate them, but I'm grateful they're alive. But I want we follow this band not to be for them to be fish, but we follow the band because they have great shows at venues like SPAC. I'm going to the Gorge, and now as I go to the Gorge, well, there's 3 nights, and Warren Haynes is going to be there. They can't mess that up. I'm not going to. But I don't think they can mess up 3 nights at the Gorge. But I hope that this is not PMP and Rapunzel and there's no Two-Step at the Gorge. I really hope not. Wait, What You Are was cut? Wait, where's the photos? Let me look on. Where are the photos? Thank you, DB Mamas. Thank you so much. Where is this set? Someone tag me in it at Conservis34. If you find the set list, a picture of the set list, definitely let me know. Okay, well, yeah, just tweet me because I'm gonna get off now and chill. It's almost time for bed. But all right, guys, peace, peace. You can't see.